Hi guys.
Hey.
Hey.
What's
up? What's up? Tierra. Latira. That's not who I am.
All right. How are y'all today? Yes.
Hi guys. Oops. You are not
I know.
Really?
I think that's
Forgive
okay.
us.
No, you need to be in there.
I get it.
Hey guys, so welcome
gotta be
to
careful.
our live podcast, Live Light Lounge. This is our 8th episode, and tonight's topic is the importance of forgiveness.
Episode 8, baby.
Yes.
Episode 8.
So I hope you
New
guys
beginnings.
enjoy.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
We can do announcements last.
Okay.
Yeah. Alrighty, guys. Live Light Lounge is not intended to substitute the professional. Sorry, we have dogs.
forgive us.
Alright. Live Light Lounge is not intended to substitute for the professional advice of licensed ministers, counselors, physicians, financial advisors, and or therapists. Live Light Lounge podcasts include the opinions and interpretations of members of music ministry, Timika, Peterson, Features, and Stereo. Listeners should consult professionals and research the Bible for themselves pertaining to any issue discussed. The information included in this podcast is meant to supplement, not replace, proper study and implementation of biblical principles. In no event will Live Light Lounge or Timika, Peterson, Features, and Stereo be held liable for any loss or damage, whether indirect or consequential, of data or profits in connection with this podcast. And now we begin.
Yes.
Yeah, so the importance. Forgiveness.
Forgive me.
Why I forgive you.
Is forgiveness important, guys?
What's forgiveness?
What is forgiveness? Do you have a definition?
I do.
Awesome.
Oh, yes.
The definition of forgiveness, y'all.
Well, forgiveness is to forgive. So let's go to what is forgive. What does forgive mean? To grant pardon or remission of offense or debt, etc. Cease to feel resentment against. Definition. And go.
Why is it important? Why do y'all think that forgiveness is important?
What's the definition again?
To grant pardon or remission of offense or debt. Cease to feel resentment against. It's against one or another person.
You said see, so that's like take
Cease
it back.
to stop. Cease
Do
to
away.
stop.
Do away with.
It's not for
I
me.
like that because I like that part in there.
Yes.
I'm reading Micah 7, 18, and 19.
Oh, yes.
Where it says, who is God like you, who pardons sin and forgives the transgressions of the remnant of his inheritance? You do not stay angry forever, but delight to show mercy. Delight to show mercy. That means you enjoy showing mercy. I love it. You will again have compassion on us. You will tread our sins underfoot and hurl all our iniquities into the depths of the sea. That in itself just tells or encompasses God's forgiveness for us, his children. I love it. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And he pardons. Yes, pardons. I like that word.
I guess this is a good conversational piece.
Especially for in these days.
It's so broad.
Yes, but I mean, if you think about the time that we're in now, you know, with the protests, with the racial tensions,
Yep.
and then being kingdom-minded, you know, we have to forgive because that's what we stand for. If we're in the image and likeness of God, you know, we are to forgive those that deal with the racial tensions, you know, that whole situation. Like he said in Micah 7 and 19, I shall read. Once again, you will have compassion on us. You will trample our sins under your feet and throw them into the depths of the ocean. You will show us your faithfulness and unfailing love as you promised to our ancestors, Abraham and Jacob, long ago. So we cannot keep grudges in our hearts. You know, it is imperative that we do forgive those that have done us wrong, have hurt us,
Have a different opinion.
different opinions. We still have to love them unconditionally. We still have to treat them like Christ did. So
Yep.
The first, go ahead.
Yep. I was gonna say Ephesians 4:32 says, "Be kind to one another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another as God in Christ forgave you." Where would we be if God didn't forgive us for the things that we've done or said or our actions or opinions? So that is why it's very important to forgive others, no matter where they come from, what their opinion is, what they're like, what their background is, and all, etc., etc. So forgiveness is important.
But that's hard, because if you're dating somebody and you know they done you wrong, you telling me that I'm supposed to forgive him?
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
The first thing I wrote down was forgiveness is important because it allows growth.
It does.
But what if I don't want to grow? What if I just want to be angry with him for cheating on me, and not only that, starting his new life with this person that he cheated on?
You'll be bound.
Forgiveness is you will be bound.
It's real.
I
can forgive you.
Forgiveness is a test of the wills. It's
Right.
all on if you're going to do it or not. And then my thing is, how can God work on that person, or if you're in the way? I'm throwing stones at you. You're the one getting hit instead of him. That person that did you wrong.
Okay.
Think of it that way.
Well, I think it's healthy, just like children. I think it's healthy to express yourself in that moment where you are being, for lack of a better word, done wrong, or we're in the midst of the situation where you in turn will have to end up forgiving. I think it's healthy for you to express it. I think it's healthy for healing, healthy for the healing that will have to take place in order to forgive, for you to express, and for the person who you're having to forgive to understand how you felt in that moment. Okay. And so I think that portion is healthy. I think where it takes time, forgiveness itself takes time. Oh my gosh, this is a perfect point. I would like to also express our there's Elder Vincent at Great Commission Community Church has a book on forgiveness. Extremely great book. Extremely great book. If you are having trouble with forgiveness, I want to extend to you that as an instrument to help utilize learning how to forgive.
Also, just to piggyback and put a comment there fast. Also, if we're doing that as well, John Bevere, The Bait of Satan. Please go and read that. John Bevere, all of his books are great. But when you're purchasing this as well, be mindful that whenever you're in a process of forgiving or understanding what forgiveness is, be mindful that you always relate the word, because only the one that has a heart of Jesus can forgive ultimately. If you knew, and if you know, she's gonna ring the doorbell. If you know what God has done to deliver us and to free us, because the Word of God says, "Whom the Son sets free is free indeed." And as I told, we had an opportunity to minister last week. The term "indeed" is an indicator that whatever has been stated is true. So, in order for you to receive healing, in order for you to receive freedom, in order for you not to be bound, because it allowed us to chuckle, God, we're going to be bound forever. You got to understand what is the next chapter in your life. Right. You got to be willing to grow, as Tierra stated. If you're willing to grow, and if you're really ready, and you're ready to move forward, then it has to be a process of forgiveness. Then it has to be an understanding of recognizing, hey, I am ready to grow. So put a go ahead, take a comment out.
So taking a comment out, but moving forward, there's so many tools that you have to forgive, but what people need to understand is forgiveness is a process. It's not something that's going to happen like this quick in a hurry. When you got hurt, the pain that you felt wasn't a quick in a hurry. And especially when it comes to forgiveness, when you're torn, when you're hurt, like the African American community today is hurt, it's going to take a while to forgive. But at the same token, we need to understand the process that is going to take to pardon the process is going to take to get to that place where we can forgive. Where people today are looking at these situations and all of these events that are happening as a moment. Think if we were back in Martin Luther King's time, civil rights, people were getting, slain right and left, and they were being non-violent, all so we can get to this point. So it's going to take a process to get to a certain point so that we can really understand what we need to do to forgive. There's a lot of healing that has to take place in everything. And I know I brought it to a point where maybe it's a little bittersweet and maybe it's a little kind of over there on the right. I need to come back to the middle. But in essence, everything, people who's been raped, children who's been molested, people dealing with homosexuality, all of these elements, people who've done church hurt, people who've dealt with the hurt of being exactly. All of these elements play in nobody who's been abandoned, nobody who's been molested, nobody who's had the church hurt. It didn't take 2 seconds and you could say I'm sorry and it be done. No, it never takes that. It's a process. Sometimes it takes counseling. Sometimes it takes those long couple of sit downs with mommy and daddy, when it's children. And you really have to dig in, find out the core root, and then find out how to move forward. And I believe that's only possible with God.
So is it safe to say that forgiveness equals healing process?
Yeah, I think it's safe to say you said equals healing process.
Yes. It's important. I would say it's important to forgive, to start that healing process.
Yeah.
Kind of what I was thinking about when Trevon was talking, how hard it is when you start that process, and why forgiveness is important when someone is offended. Proverbs 18:9, an offended brother is harder to reach or win back than a fortified city.
Yes.
And arguments separate friends like a gate locked with bars. So that's why it's important, because now it's like, okay, I'm offended now, so now it's going to be definitely harder to get you in the kingdom to build up anything else, because I have an odd, or there's something against us now. That's why forgiveness is so important. We can't let things like this, we can't hold a grudge inside. And then as believers, there's no way that we can deal with unforgiveness or having an unforgiving nature, because one, we said we are believers of God, we love God, and we love everyone else, but how can I truly love God when I have an ought against you? Or how can I bring God my worship and my gifts? How can I bring God my gifts with having that mindset? Somebody has done me wrong. Yeah. It talked about that in Matthew 5:23. Before I can offer anything to God, I named it before I can offer anything to God. It says, so if you're offering your gifts on the altar, and there you remember that your brother has something against you, leave your gift in front of the altar, go and be reconciled with your brother, and then come and offer your gift.
I think we need to look at it like at the other end of it. It's hard to forgive. It is. Yeah. I would be transparent, even being a Christian, you know what I'm saying, and walking in that, I've struggled with trying to forgive people that have hurt me, you know what I'm saying, and like Trayvon was saying, without God, that wouldn't be possible. But the fact that God is in my life, and I look to Him when I am dealing with those hurts and those pains that have caused me throughout the years, it has shown me a different light of why it is important to forgive. So these podcasts, these different things that we do to get to that point are important, are imperative for people out there that's dealing with the protests and the whole Black Lives Matter, the racial tensions and stuff. We have to understand and get to a point and a place and understand that without God, you're not able to forgive. Mm-hmm. You need Him to heal your heart and to look at stuff in a different light.
Well, see,
we are the light, and we really have to
show
people
what's going on now. Why are we here? This is why forgiveness is so hard, and that's what I was about to mention. So we keep mentioning the protests, we keep mentioning all of this because it's in the moment, And I guess we have to express it, especially as African Americans, especially on platforms like this.
It's relevant.
At platforms like this, and as it's so relevant to forgiveness. But what I say is really healthy about it is we have to express it. We have to express it. And I love the forums like we have here, you know, where it's us, but when you're expressing it, I had a situation today with an employee, my coworker, and of course I never reveal where I work because I just think that's not good. but an employee where I work, and she made a comment. I made a comment, and she made a comment, and I didn't expose anything up front, but I went back and I instant messaged her on my computer and let her know my feelings. And she was of another race, and I thought that was necessary so that everyone's on the same page. There's a lot of unconscious mindsets that has been built from upbringings, and since it's been built from upbringings, some people, that's just like to make it a little bit plainer, people who just say, have you ever met somebody who always says I'm sorry and think that's the answer? And they'll be like, and they'll hurt you, but you're so used to always saying, well, I'm sorry, that you're like, no, you're not sorry. Because you've done it again. This is something you've done again. It's situations like that where you can apologize, but you don't truly understand what you're apologizing for. Then your apology doesn't mean anything. You know, and so what we need to be doing now is enlightening people in the moment and expressing people in the moment when you require forgiveness. That and when you're forgiving is present, not future tense, not present. It's happening. Where am I at?
Current.
It's current. There we go. It's current. It's happening. To forgive means it's already been done. Right. But when you're forgiving it, when you're trying to forgive someone, and you're trying to in that moment we're forgiving people for what they've done, but it's so hard to forgive them because things keep happening. Yeah. And so
we don't have time.
Right when we're at the moment, like, you know, maybe this won't happen again. Maybe this is over. Maybe there's some reform. Maybe the person's really trying. And they do it again. It just hurts. So that's why I said you can't do what I got. That's where you have to realize, and I'm bringing it back, how God has forgiven us all these years. Because He forgives us daily. That's why it's so important that we ask. I mean, people say, you know, once God has forgiven you, He's forgiven you, and that's true. But I think that forgiveness, asking Him daily, is for us. Because we feel and we know that even though He is the keeper of all, He's forgiven us for all of our sins. He's thrown it in the sea of forgiveness. I think we need to be reminded ourselves when I pray, Lord, thank you for everything you've done. Thank you for forgiving me daily. And I thank Him for forgiving me daily because I know I've sinned daily. Some way, somehow I've fallen short. And, you know, and it may be some of that what I call unsincere, saying sorry, but asking God for clarity is what we need. And people who are in the situations where they don't know what they've done, or they are privileged to some things, and you may have a harder time reaching those people, then you need to ask for clarity. And asking for clarity, God will give you that clarity so that you can understand what we're forgiving you for and why forgiveness is important.
Real quick, guys, we have a special guest with us, Miss Leandra.
Oh,
say hey to the people, honey.
You're gonna show me out?
Yeah. Share some of your thoughts about why forgiveness is so important.
I'm already I think it's important when talking about forgiving. We need to understand or
at least think about why it's hard to forgive to begin with. Why can't we let things go? Because forgiveness, in a way, is like letting those feelings go. Knowing that someone hurt you or that someone has offended you and saying, it's okay, I'm going to pretend it never happened, kind of thing. Because that's the way God does us. When we sin against him, we are offending him in a way, but he's saying, it's okay, I'm going to pretend it didn't happen. Throw it in the sea of forgiveness, it doesn't matter. I love you as if you've never done anything wrong. But we can't do that for some reason. Like, we don't.
Human.
Yeah, like it's the human, like the human nature in us. So, like, we will, all right, I'm going to get over this, but I ain't going to forget.
Right, that's exactly.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
like, if you steal from me, yeah, I'm going to forgive you, but I'm going to keep my eye on you. I'm going to have my purse extra close to me. I'm going to step 3 steps back because I don't trust you now. And now we have all these extra factors. And, you know, we want to be like Christ, but we have all these little things that, like, really kind of stop us from really getting there. And I feel like we put it on human nature and the way that, you know, we develop and how we feel, but is that really like how we're supposed to like do it? You know, if we take it to like, y'all need to be like Jesus. Like, Jesus won't like that. Like, he was crucified and he still had a whole heart of love up there. And if we're supposed to strive to be like that, then we should be like that. And we forget, he was in flesh too. He didn't have no, you know, I mean, he had his, you know, he was God and everything in the flesh. But he felt the same way we felt. He felt pain. He felt hurt. I'm sure his emotions and stuff, because he was still a human, he felt the same way. However, he was still able to, like,
He didn't act on it.
exactly, he didn't act on it, you know, sin, you know,
He was
no,
able
you
to
can be
contain
angry, but, you
himself.
know, don't sin and stuff like that. So he definitely, he felt, I feel like he felt more than even what we feel. Like, he had people stab him in the back.
Literally.
You know, like, you know, Judas was his homie, they was friends, and, you know, it was like, I'm gonna betray you for, what is it, 30 pieces of silver or something? You know, I'm gonna betray you for $30 over here, but and that hurts. Jesus wasn't happy about that. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be happy about that. Whether it was a million years ago or even now, like, feelings are still feelings. And I don't think that, I think we just complicate a lot of stuff. So I think in order to, like, forgive, we need to understand why we don't want to, or why it's hard, or why we feel like I can't, and I want to hold on to this pain, and I want to, like, I don't want to let
like
it
how
go.
it feels.
Exactly. It's like, I don't want to let it go because then it's going to make you feel like it was okay. And it's not that it was okay, but as long as you hold on to it, it's a cancer.
Yeah.
To you and your mind and your heart.
I told you I was going over
For
his
real.
head.
It is. And, you know, we're talking about something that's not easy to do, but it's something that has to be done.
That's right.
Even in talking about a lot of the things that's happening in our society, in our cultures, you know, I don't know what you guys are going through in your personal lives, but it's not easy, but it's still something that has to be done. And the only real way to really kind of go through this is you have to go through it with God. You have to go through it, you know, with Jesus, with the Holy Spirit, because he was our example. And because he could do it, then that lets us know that we could do it too.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's it. You know, I'm out.
Thank you, Leandra. That was perfect.
That was.
Let me say this. I know I've been moving around a lot. So.
Flash.
Yeah. But even with what she said, I had mentioned something to Shamara because I was dealing with something as well, and you gotta understand who you are does not dictate on how hurt you can be. Just because you're a pastor doesn't mean that you don't get church hurt or people that don't hurt you, or there's not opportunity where you're just walking to the store and you're used to be a witness or a victim of rape or molestation. I told her this. I said, at the end of the day, we must look at each other as still belonging to God. How I treat you, I still have to know in my heart that you're part of God's child.
Yeah.
And I think once we realize that, then we shouldn't have to have an ought towards our brothers and sisters. And I think that's where Jesus was. Yes, Judas stabbed him in the back. But at the end of the day, you belong to me. And I think once we realize, man, Leandra hurt me. She stabbed me in my back. But is she really, do I really keep things from her or not forgive her? Because at the end of the day, we both belong to God. And I think that's where we kind of missed the mark. Guys, at the end of the day, those people that, since we're talking about right now, what we're going through right now, what the nation is going through, at the end of the day, they belong to God. And people have to be accountable for that. But at the same time, these type of sit down conversations that we having allows us and educate us. Man, the next time I say, "Oh, I'm gonna feed them spoon," what is it, spoon, long-handed spoon?
Yeah.
We gotta understand: is that really forgiving? God, they hurt me.
On condition.
Yeah, and yes, like you said, we do make human nature an excuse, but at the same time, we gotta look at, man, Jesus forgave me. He's still forgiving me, and still loving me, and still have blessings still flowing. So yeah, when we feel like they stole money from me, are you willing, as men and women of God, are we still willing to give to somebody in need that need it? Like right now, I have a lot of stuff that's still put up in certain situations that I went through because it reminds me, man, I still gotta forgive them. I still gotta forgive her, and they did me wrong. But at the end of the day, once you have gotten past that, that's a testimony for those that can't forgive. And they stabbed me in my back. Well, let me tell you about this situation that I went through. And people are gonna try to they're gonna try to figure out, why in the world do you still deal with me?
Right.
Gosh, man, you still giving me rides. You still let me lay my head in your house and I ain't pay my rent, or you still can still love me and have a genuine hug, and you know I hurt you at church. That's what we are. We do God wrong every day. Some of us open our eyes to it every day, knowing that we've done him wrong. But still give us breath, still give us life, still gives us grace. And like you said, it's the mercy of it. Are you willing to give mercy to those that hurt you? And it can be harder, I guess, done than said, if I'm saying it right. Said than done. You just gotta, I would say look at it in God's eyes, but that's cliche. Let's really look at it like that. Like, man,
Be real.
be really real.
But I even think it can block you from going to the next level in your life. You know, like it's really keeping you bound where you're not able to really blossom. You know what I'm saying? Like, forget, like you said, it's a cancer.
Yeah.
It
It's
eats away.
really bitter.
The longer you hold on to it, the longer you're bound and damaged, and that process is going to take a little bit longer. And you're going to look up and you're going to be, Lord, you can be 80-some years old and you're still bitter because you held on to that unforgiving thing.
Yeah.
I think unforgiveness is a cancer. Unforgiveness shows in the ways that we build walls. Unforgiveness also shows in ways that reflects in our attitude. Unforgiveness shows in so many different ways, and like, so you wonder, why are you so angry? Because someone else did this to me, and now because of that, I'm gonna respond like this. Or because I went through this when I was 3 years old or 5 years old or whatever. Now I have a wall and I don't trust anybody.
Yeah.
And then you can't see why someone did you wrong, but hurt people hurt people.
And heal people.
Exactly, heal people heal people. And I'm a firm believer that there's nothing that you go through that is just for you.
Exactly.
You go through stuff to help someone else. So we've become like the crabs in a bucket, and we're only concerned, we're really concerned about ourselves, and we're like, oh my God, I'm so hurt, and I want to go like this. But we forget that even in the hurt, you have to open up.
Exactly.
Let somebody else in. Let someone see your pain and how you're making it through, so that you can help someone else get through something. Because you're not the only one that's going through. You're not the only one that went through. You're not the only one that felt. There's a lot of people that are feeling a whole lot of stuff, and that's a whole lot of people going through way worse. There's always somebody going through worse.
Yeah. That was
So your smile, your story, your whatever will always be able to help someone else. And I'm a firm believer.
You're right.
Even my little, compared to other people, I may not have gone through much, but my story will help someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
That's
And-
it. I'm
and
out.
And you're delivered. You're delivered by the words of your
Yeah.
testimony. Imagine
Right.
those that are delivered by the words of your testimony, but imagine how delivered you can be by the words of your testimony. And I'm not saying like testimony like, oh my God, I got it. And I was talking to a young woman this week. You know, it's not necessarily exposing yourself, but it is telling what God has done for you. Man, I was in a crazy relationship, and that was an example. But I know a lot of people that I've come in contact with just by telling my story about being in college, and I fell in love with this guy, and he gave me an STD. But at the end of the day, me telling that allowed me to really look at it like, man, I still forgave him. I still forgave him. Told me all the lies in the world, and the thing is, I contracted something that, check this out, the unforgiveness could have killed me worse than what he contracted me with.
Yeah.
Now the thing was, the disease was curable, but imagine if I would have just held on to what he done to me. That would have killed me.
Yeah.
And you gotta understand that things that we go through often, and like she said, it's cancer. What seed is it of not forgiving? What seed is it planting? Bitterness, envy, resentment. And you can't even really be what God has called you to be because you can't forgive. What has God called you to be? Entrepreneur, a writer, a publisher, an artist. It's a lot of artists right now, and because we're doing this, it's a lot of artists right now that can write the now in season songs, but they can't write these in season songs for the nation, for the church to hear, to affect the nation, because they've been church hurt. You had it. Oh, you gonna say something? But,
Just a little bit.
but I mean, imagine what. For example, even PK kids. I heard Lauren. What's her last name? Lauren Ariel. Check it out on Facebook. But
McCray.
McCray. Ain't my mind. She was talking about even PK kids and what they had to deal with. That right there is already developing in business owner children. The resentment that they're building inside of them. Entrepreneur families. Because they're having to share their parents with people. And what that does is, now I can't even be a good parent because I can't even be who I am as a child because I'm sharing my life with other people.
Wow.
And so I'm not forgiving the members of the church. I'm not forgiving the industry of music. I'm not forgiving the church in general because you took my parents away from me. And so we gotta go ahead and I had left, but identify the problem. When forgiving, identify the problem. What is the problem? And be honest. He hurt me. She hurt me. They hurt me. What did they hurt you with? This is what they hurt me with.
How did it make you feel?
How did they make you feel? They make me feel horrible, this big. And know your worth. When you're forgiven, ask God to remind you of your worth. What is that? You're fearfully and wonderfully made. What is that? You're in the image and likeness of God. You're made in the image and likeness of God. Well, you're part of the royal priesthood, the holy nation. Remind yourself who you are. When you're forgiven, remind who you are. Because in unforgiveness, you forget who you are. You lose integrity. You lose your identity. Imagine, and I'm not throwing this out here like this, but imagine those that are dealing with alternative lifestyles, homosexuality, because of a situation that was taken from them. Molestation, rape, and now they can't forgive, so they have lost their identity in it.
Forgive the man or woman, and now they resent the man, so they cannot sleep with a man anymore.
And so they've lost their identity.
Wow.
So imagine all the things that you get back. And I want this to be a healing moment even for those that are listening, imagine what you can be, who you really are. And again, I think I said in our last podcast, accountability is so very, very important. When in the process of forgiving and knowing who you are and whose you are and who you belong to, in forgiveness, it's gonna be those nights where you're just not gonna be able to. You're gonna feel like you can't get from point A to point B. And again, we know how unforgiveness feels. We know how not. Another thing, how does it feel to not be forgiven after you have apologized?
That'll eat you just as bad as
That will
Well, see,
eat
that's what I'm thinking. You know, the other side of the rock, which would be the person who you're forgiving. When you say accountability to me, I'm not only looking at accountability on my end. If I was the person who I'm trying to forgive that person, I'm looking at the person, that person who you suppose who is receiving forgiveness or on the other end. You know what I'm saying? Because let's say this is a situation where a male cheated and the female has to forgive the male. Accountability on the male's end would be not to cheat again. Like, in order for me to believe that, you know, in order for me to forgive you, truly forgive you, I need to know in the healing process of it all that you're not going to cheat. Because a lot of relationships get broken up, which could stay together in cheating, in the very essence of cheating. A lot of relationships could stay together if everyone would simply do their part and be accountable. Consistency on the female's part, consistency on the male's part. And like you said, understanding that there was a problem, understanding that, you know, how to fix it, and what it's going to take. And each partner has to be accountable. So whenever I'm forgiving these people, in my mind, and this is the humanistic portion of it, in the people's mind, as much as we would love, and I'm just being real, as much as people would love, now those are more there are those who are more mature, but those who are not mature as we as a lot of the saints who are at a certain level, you know, I'm trying to
be careful. Be trying to be careful.
Yes. Some people are just like, no, I'm not going to forgive that person. There ain't no way I'm going to do it. I'll never will do it. Those are the people who I'm trying to target right now. We need to make sure in those moments that every party is kind of understanding that they play a role. You have to understand the role you play so that everybody can participate in that healing process and understanding how to forgive. So I mean that's just the piece that I see when I hear accountability. Those are the things I'm hearing. Everybody has to take a part.
I have a question. So do you think that it is okay, say, if I were to call somebody in my past and just take accountability on my part and be like, you know what? If it was anything that I ever done to you, I apologize. Whatever it was, I don't know, but whatever it was, I apologize for anything that you may have thought I've done, and I forgive you, and leave it at that and move on. Is that okay?
I hate that.
You hate
You
that?
do?
I hate the way you said that.
It doesn't sound sincere.
I hate
No,
when people do that.
I'm just saying, like,
No.
it would be deeper than that, but
Well,
I'm just saying.
I love I'm sorry. One moment.
I got it.
A comma. I love the approach. I love people doing it. But I've had people come up to me, and I know people on Facebook gonna really understand me for saying this, because I'll be that person like, no, don't say that. Don't say I don't know what I may have did. There's people, and if anybody on Facebook right now, from my high school years, there's people right now who have asked, who said, man, I ain't mean that, who have called me gay. I'm still gay to this day. They say I'm gay. And I got a wife and kids, it don't even matter. And I would hate somebody to call me and be like, hey man, I remember high school, man, if I ever did no, tell me what you did. Yeah. Tell me you called me gay. I know you called me gay. I was there hearing the conversations of people coming to me telling me, oh, yo, someone was calling you gay,
Yeah.
so and so. No, tell me if I'm gonna be a man about the situation. I know I'm coming from a fence. I'm coming from a fence though. But it's points in these situations where I'm sitting here like, no, tell me you said I was gay, and then let's move from there.
I think that when you're trying to apologize to someone, be specific.
Identify.
But what if you really didn't do anything but try to make the situation better or try to make it work?
If you don't know what you did wrong,
Don't
you
don't
don't
even
know
waste your
about
time.
it, then
What
that's
prompted you to call me to apologize?
no. Exactly. What's
Maybe
wrong
it's
with
not
you?
forgiving, maybe
did.
just so I can just release and let go.
You should still just
Maybe.
forgive on your own.
Illustration. Jesus gets on the cross and say, hey man, whatever I did to offend is done. You like, what? Because it just leaves it like,
So
Yeah,
I should not do that.
man,
Because
well,
you don't
the
know.
thing is,
You don't even know what
if
you
you
did.
did something. And this is why a lot of times when I do have an opportunity to pray with people, you know, I tell them, take time out, write down exactly what you want to see God do. And even dealing with people, take time out, write down what I have done to offend this individual. I did that. I had called somebody and I said, yo, man, whatever I did, yo, I apologize. Well, I don't know if I can receive that because you don't even know what you did. That's like asking God for forgiveness. You're not being straight up and forward with him. God, I slept with this person and knew that I wasn't supposed to fornicate.
But what if you really don't know if you offended that
But
person
then-
or not?
Then
But
what
you're
you
just
hard
Then
for?
what you
saying-
apologizing to?
I don't know. Maybe
That's
that's just
what
too.
prompted you to call
But
me.
but,
I don't know.
your example is like so many people because I mean you're not the first person who said anything like said something like that. There's a lot of people who do that. There's a lot of people who will say, "Oh, if I've done anything to offend you," but the thing is, either one, you just want to apologize
And make things right.
and try to make things right, and your intentions are good, which is why I said I love your approach. Because in those situations, the intentions are good. But if you felt like there was an inkling of something that you know you did do,
Let's identify.
then you say, oh, well, I know I may have hurt you in this way, this specific way. But aside from that, I may have done some stuff that I didn't even know that was unintentional. So that unintentional piece, yo, it wasn't even meant to be like that. No hard feelings. I want to really apologize.
Unintentional.
Now that you say it like that, then
But I mean,
probably.
but
The intention is good, but
it's situations like that where people, know what I'm saying? But it's situations like that where people will do that. Oh man, that irks me. Because I feel like the majority of the time, man, you know what you did. You know what you did. And you ain't saying nothing. If you had the guts to call me, and now you have my attention, oh, we gotta lay this down on the table. We gotta lay all this down on the
You
table.
didn't that did
You said what?
them wrong. Never mind. Let's just go on.
And half the
Are
time,
you
it be
trying to get an apology out of them?
No.
this.
They don't even have to apologize. It would be wonderful, but I'm doing it for me
Is it because of
to
the awkward?
release and let go and move on with my life.
But have you?
I have moved on.
Okay,
with
let's do
my
this.
life.
Let's do this.
So it's pointless to
Listen,
okay.
listen.
I think anyway.
Have we? Because the thing is, sometimes it's not. And y'all know y'all gonna get on me with this, and I know they are. Sometimes it doesn't need an apology. Sometimes you have to recognize it for yourself. Wait a minute. If I call and say the same phrase you said, is it gonna make this a deeper wound, or do we just go our separate ways and let it go? Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna be trying to reestablish a thing. Wait. Because some people do. Some people do. Because if I called you with that same intent, my intentions are we're trying to reestablish. it doesn't have to be a relationship. It doesn't have to be a friendship. We're just trying to make something right. But if it's still an open wound, all you doing with that is putting a band-aid over it.
So
However,
situation.
if I said, I'm going to forgive the situation, I'm going to let this one go. When I speak, I'm going to be genuine. Teach me, God, how to approach and let it go. Because to me, I feel like you already grew and because we're talking about this topic, you have revisited. But if you're revisiting, like, man, I might need a call, but if you have nothing to say, then are you revisiting it to open the wound back up? Because
Maybe I'm revisiting because I feel like I judged.
Okay.
Well,
That
see,
sounds like a you and God situation.
yeah, see, that's what I'm thinking because I'm going back to what you said before.
But that's
Some
like on
people-
actions, though.
Some people make that statement to get something out of the other person that they want. Some people say, if there's anything I've done, I just want to say I apologize. Here they are with their ear open
Just to
like
open
this,
it up.
to be like, I'm waiting for your apology because I need you to say I'm
And
sorry.
then don't get.
And then here they go, okay, and that's all you get.
That would be okay
Oh,
with
you
me.
good,
High
man.
five.
Oh, you good,
Now,
man.
some people aren't okay with that, and it would deepen the wound.
And sometimes what the situation needs is what Tamika's talking about. It just needs time, and in time that person will come, and you will be at a good place, and that person will be at a good place to come back and say, this was a situation, it was a problem, I just needed some time to figure it out, and y'all are at a better place because y'all took that time.
And doors begin to open because you have allowed yourself to heal.
I just had that happen. I just had that happen too. Somebody hit me up, was like,
Or did they just want to go to your
and
wedding?
no,
No, I mean,
Oh,
they want an invitation.
listen, an old friend, right?
Okay.
They hit me up. I would say he or she. They hit me up. Was like, let's go to dinner. I was like, all right, I'm open. So whatever. So we go, and they expressed themselves and what mindset they were in at that time that we were friends, and they apologized for how they had treated me and everything. And I was just like, okay, boom, 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 good conversation. We eat, we good. Okay, see you later. Nothing more, right? Same example. Also, in that, I was like, okay. I was like, what was this for? Because I didn't need anything. I was good. I moved on. I'm fine. I think that person needed to get that off for them and let me know, hey, I'm sorry. They need to get that off for themselves. It needed to happen for them. And then on top of that, that person, I think, was in a motive to rekindle. And I was like,
Or invitation.
that's why,
I like
and
that.
that led me to, I posted this on Facebook a week or two ago. Every situation of forgiveness does not warrant rebuilding. Like, it doesn't mean, okay, we forgive each other, boom, boom, boom. Now, does that mean we have to be friends again? Does it mean we have to be
that's
because
where
no,
I
because
that's where I was at.
Season.
just as toxic as it was
Lifetime.
years ago.
Season.
Both parties have
It
to
can
be
still be-
willing
right.
to
But-
do that.
I mean, if you want to rebuild,
Lifetime.
cool.
Season.
But that's why I said discern before you decide to rebuild, because that situation is
Discern
just as
before you
toxic.
decide. Hashtag.
Discern,
Lifetime.
it's probably
Season.
just as toxic. No matter, okay, yeah, I was mature enough to forgive you, but I mean, we probably still are gonna be like this. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be discerning when you say, okay, am I gonna rebuild this thing? But don't think just because I've forgiven you, we have to rebuild. We do not have to.
Lifetime.
We do not have to.
That's not what I want.
Like this can legit be, I forgive you. I
That
forgive
may not
you.
be what you
They-
want, but
they
what does
say
God
it's
want?
easy, whatever it was, I forgive you. That's all it can be, and it be done, and we can move forward. You are stupid.
So you don't have to necessarily, if you're feeling some type of way about a person, you don't have to necessarily talk to that person to ask for or expect forgiveness or whatever, or to forgive. You can speak with God.
I think it depends
I
on
think
the
sometimes it's
situation.
healthy for that,
Yeah.
but it depends on the situation, because you have to ask yourself, when Jesus was about to hit that cross, and he asked not the people, but God,
Not what they
he asked the God,
Forgive me.
forgive
True.
them,
Give them.
for they know not what they do.
He never went to
So
them.
there has been situations where I couldn't speak. I remember a job that I was at where I could not speak to those people directly. But I know, and that goes back to what Timika was saying, knows whose you are and who you are. I knew that they were doing me wrong. And I told God, please don't. Please do not. Please do not let nothing happen. Because I know what can happen because of who I am in your kingdom.
Yeah.
And sometimes that type of forgiveness is necessary just to do what it needs to do. So, sometimes it's good to say something to the other person. Sometimes it's good to let time take its course. Because time is one of the biggest healers of everything.
Yes.
Be so careful.
Have to discern.
Don't let pride get in the way.
Mm.
When you know that you are supposed to apologize, there's some people right now that just need to apologize because they put people in
They made my eye jump.
okay, let me say it like this. There's just some people. Let's do it. Let me make it like this. There's some fathers that just need to apologize to their kids, and pride is in the way, or fear is in the way. How would they accept me now? Oh God, and don't let that scare you. But there are some people that do need that apology, and sometimes it takes the mature believers to do that, to apologize, because you know how forgiveness feels. I think I said it before. Some people don't know freedom unless they talk to somebody that is free. You don't know really what Trayvon Martin's daddy is really going through, but he's dealing because he can stand behind a platform and encourage other fathers, and Trayvon Martin's mom, and encourage other mothers. Did they forgive? If they can open their mouth and stand firm and not break down and talk bad on these people and still say encourage, is that freedom? Is that forgiveness? Because I think it was one situation where somebody had came in and shot up something, and I think it was the church. The guy had came in and shot up the church or something like that, and they forgave him. Do you know how free the guy that shot up the place really feels now? He might be behind bars, but the man is sane. Like, I don't know, I gotta find the article. But there's a young man that shot up and they forgave him. But that allows people how bound people are because they're waiting on an apology. And if we have that power in our hand to pick up the phone and not say but to say, look, I lied to you. Hey, I stole from you. I stole your integrity. I stole your identity. I apologize. Do you know the freedom that they will? I mean, just imagine. I'm just collecting, like, man.
And for kingdom's sake, so that everybody can grow.
Yeah.
Because some people are really literally waiting on that apology so that they can get out of some stuff that is holding them from being the person that they need to be. Mm-hmm. Like, there is some children, like you said, who are waiting on that apology from these fathers so they can now really develop a relationship with their father. And the same goes for the daughters and their mothers. And the same thing goes from children and their teachers. And for people at work and their bosses. The trickle effect is everywhere. Just so that the teachers who aspire to become this teacher so they can teach all these wonderful children who maybe did not turn out to be wonderful, and that teacher said, you know what, you there are not going to be nothing. And here comes that child who their teacher told them there wasn't going to be nothing. Little did they know that at home that child was being told that they weren't going to be nothing. So now You got the parents telling the child that they're not going to be nothing. The teacher telling the child that they're going to be nothing. And when they turn out to really not be nothing and be the statistic that you told them they were going to be,
Wow.
what is your rebuttal to that? Well, I knew that they weren't going to be nothing.
Exactly.
No,
That's
you
what
could
I'm
have
saying.
been the person that said they were going to be something, and that little inkling could have been the very thing that they needed to be something and to make a impact on another child's life who was being told the same thing. And you held that up. That's why everybody takes part in everybody's destiny. There's not just one destiny. Everybody takes part. And you have to play your part. Because I need you and you need me. And all of it is, in essence, a piece of forgiving. You have to be, and just like Leandra said, you have to, you have to let these people know so that you won't be held up. And if you're not held up, then it kind of, another trickle effect, creates that piece of nobody's kind of held up. Everybody can be and do what they need to do in life and be the testimony that they need to be so that people can be free.
But I mean, that's, yo, take this time out. If we didn't say anything to you or you didn't hear anything else, hear this. Take this time out to just forgive. Start by forgiving yourself. Forgive yourself, then forgive others. And not only that, pray and if I'm saying it right, y'all correct me, an earnest prayer. And pray for those that have hurt you. And then pray for your healing process to begin. Identify it.
I'm sorry.
Identify it.
I wrote down earlier too, and it just popped in my head again.
That's the Holy Ghost.
The biggest, something more added to it. The biggest pardon or act of forgiveness was Jesus dying on the cross for our sins.
Yes.
And if we are to be more like God and more like Christ, we have to have that same mindset. We have to be able to forgive others. And when you forgive, this just came to me, don't make a public spectacle of it. Him being on the cross was enough of a public spectacle. Do it in private. Don't be so, like, you have to have everybody knowing, I'm forgiving this person. Do y'all see I'm forgiving her? We don't need that.
Yeah.
This is just for you. Don't put flesh into it. Like, it's really for the internal.
That's good.
Yeah.
Do that there.
That's good. Yeah.
That's good.
So, we dare not leave this. I'm concluding.
Yeah, that's
What you
fine.
about to do?
Yeah.
Call. We dare not.
We dare not do this without taking time out to let you all know that God did send His only begotten Son to save you from sin. And not only that, a veil was torn, guys. Now you don't have to go to Shamara or Brandy and say, like she said, publicly to a priest, I'm bringing this calf because I need forgiveness.
Yeah. Yeah.
The veil is torn.
Yeah.
And Jesus has made Himself that sacrifice. You can go right to Him and you can say, look, God, I'm forgiving myself. I'm forgiving the situation. I'm forgiving this person. And I want to move forward. And not only that, you can be even bold enough to say, after I forgive, give me a glimpse of what my next chapter is going to be. Motivate me so that I will stay forgiven. And so, guys, they going to pick on me. It's not an altar call, but I just want you to take time. I do want you to just take time out because our goal for every podcast, our goal for every ministry opportunity, our goal for every conversation, whether it be a Food Line, Walmart, the new Publix, if I'm saying it right, is to win a soul. This is an injustice if we do not impact the lives, if we do not motivate the nations to know who Jesus really is.
Yeah.
This is insignificant. And we know that grace is sufficient. We know that peace surpasses all understanding. And we know that there is a man that wore flesh and took time out to have him self-sacrifice so that we could be forgiven, whether it was fornication, whether it's homosexuality, whether it's lying, drunkenness, whatever it is, God can save you. And I need you guys to know that. I need you guys to believe it. Admit it with your mouth. Believe it in your heart. Confess it with. Do all those things. ABC. ABC. And identify. I think that's as African American culture, and not to say, just to put it in one spectrum, but we don't like counseling. We don't, and that's a whole nother ball game. It is, yeah, it is. And I had to get to a place where I just had to identify this is wrong, and we got to get there. And don't beat yourself up. And so I believe that is it. Do we have any announcements?
Upcoming events.
We do have an upcoming event. I need you guys before you do. Somebody, what's up, Tony Cook? She said forgiveness plus transformation equals freedom.
That's good.
So that is good. That is good. Hashtag that tonight. But guys, we do have a few announcements.
Yes.
Oh, she said yes.
Yes.
We will be at Livingstone. Is it Livingstone
Blue
College?
Bears,
Yes.
that's it.
Livingstone College.
Livingston.
Yes. We'll be there for their homecoming gospel concert on October 11th at 7. Join us there in the Berry of Solace.
Very Solace.
Salisbury.
We also
Salisbury.
got, what's Doma Jane?
Oh, let's go all the way back. October.
That's the 7th. Hold please. I shared it today.
I shared it too.
God bless.
I'm sharing it.
It is October 7th.
Seven.
At 2016 at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Choosing Black Lives Matter.
It's at,
Numa Pentecostal Church of Deliverance.
is it
So-
Numa?
So Dominique,
Yeah.
Dominique Franks and Kiwan Pernell
Pernell.
will be ministering. Guys, we want you all to follow them.
It's in Thomasville.
Spread the flyer. It is in Thomasville,
We'll
North Carolina.
share the flyer on our page.
Also, you do not want to miss that Livingstone, Jane. That's on a Tuesday, right?
On a Tuesday.
Sorry.
See, they need forgiveness.
It's their homecoming, right?
They need,
Forgive us.
they gonna turn up
Forgive us.
already. But guys, 6 o'clock Sunday. It is going down on podcast. If you missed this in live, you can't find it because y'all be suffering like me at old age trying to find it in your news feed. It's not there. It disappears. So hit us up on iTunes and Podbean.
Podbean.
Also, it's good to have Leandra with us. Y'all go follow her. Hey, let's do one thing a little bit on
Guys,
Oh, Lord.
I'm sorry.
No, I don't nothing else to say. I'm out.
If you enjoyed this podcast tonight, guys, we have 7 other episodes on iTunes and Podbean. Also, go to our website, www.TamikaPetersonFewChildrenInStereo.com.
Get on that so we can remind you.
Subscribe to our mailing list. You'll get what? You'll get emails about our upcoming events, ministry events, our music projects that are out, more podcasts. Like us on Facebook. Well, you already like us because you're here. Instagram, Twitter, like our YouTube page.
Yep. YouTube.
We're everywhere.
Facebook, Twitter.
We're
Snapchat.
on
We're
No,
on
we're
Snapchat.
not
We
on
did
Snapchat. We're
Snap.
Snapchat.
What's up, Dominique Bates? Hey, Dominique
Bates.
Bates. Dominique's brother plays for the Steelers.
Really?
Really?
So big ups to
I'm so
Steelers.
My
sorry.
granddaddy.
I'm
I'm about to say
sorry.
big up to the Steelers. They already
I'm sorry.
talking
I'm a
junk.
Ravens fan. I'm sorry. I'm so
He
sorry.
said he listens to our album on iTunes every morning. God
Oh,
bless
thank
you.
you.
You got some
Thank
new
you.
Bates from Salisbury.
Yeah, Bates.
I know who that is.
Hey, we got some new stuff coming out. But yes, yeah, we gotta get you. We gotta get you to hit us, to join us next time. So we're gonna make sure we do that. But I think that's
Amanda Brown is praying for our ministry.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
We
Bless
Bless
you.
thank
We
you.
appreciate it, y'all.
PTT. T.
Yes.
Push through this time
Together.
together.
Leave it up to our Pastor Hawkins to add other T's.
Yes.
Yeah.
Join
Yeah,
us.
shout outs to Hawkins, Pastor Hawkins.
Pastor
No,
article
Yeah.
integrating African American churches and the
Predominantly white.
predominantly white. So we're merging together November 6th. You do not want to miss that. Guys, come to 3008 East Bessemer Avenue. Are y'all still doing y'all Souls Matter, Jane? Y'all still doing that series? What y'all got CDs? What's your address? Hey, Great Commissioner. It's Great Commissioner. If y'all have nowhere to go on Sunday, this guy's hilarious. Apostle Gloria Samuels is a pillar in Winston-Salem.
Pillar.
She holding up.
She just went to Charlotte to join the people there with the assist.
Something's happening.
Oh, it's
But the
still
recorder's
going.
still going.
Yeah,
Still going.
to assist. So please pray for us. We need more and more pastors to go down to Charlotte to help and assist. So we really need prayer. Pray for what's going on right now.
Amanda, we will come to Durham.
We sure will. Eagle Pride.
Anyway,
This is a round out.
Amanda, I'm
Grab.
gonna put our
Awesome.
email address on here. Take that, copy it. You'll talk to me. We'll book it. Let's go.
Let's rock and roll.
Also, if you're not doing anything this Saturday, October, what is it?
First.
Yes, October the 1st. This Saturday,
What's the big one?
Celebrity Charity Wishes is having a Hoops for Hearts basketball tournament in Lexington, North Carolina at the middle school. So if you guys are not doing anything, you can check my page out and see the flyer.
What's your
And
page, though?
Brandy Joy Myers. on
She's a
Facebook.
photographer, guys. Book her.
That's so funny. Yes, book me. No.
Seriously.
But yeah, thank you guys for joining us tonight. We appreciate you
I'm a
guys.
gospel girl.
And
I can't.
I think.
live life. Live life.
Can I turn it
Live
on?
life.
Live life.
Teach me how to.
I'm tired. Going home.